Well, we're working with your backyard or front yard or side yard. Sometimes you have some concerns about the area where you're going to be standing or is going to have a lot of traffic. In this case, I want to teach you some basics of how to work with pavers. Pavers are in many different designs, styles, and everything, and they get a little more complicated, as you learn how to use them, and they can give you beautiful patterns. In this case, we have a pond that is going to be decorated around with pavers. We're going to use this type of pavers. They come in either this size or square ones, and you can actually stagger them in the way you want. What we want to do whenever we work with pavers, we want to make sure that we know exactly where any type of buried lines are, like gas lines, electric lines, media lines, and all these things. So you want to make sure. In this case, we have a really hard, solid surface. We have already an inclination. You want to make sure that you understand where the water is going, and you don't want to create puddles. For this process, we're going to use some gravel for drainage. We're going to use some sand, and obviously the pavers. Once we determine exactly where our shape is going to go, or pavers are going to go, and how we want to place them, we start by measuring and leveling areas that need to be level, obviously. And obviously, if you have sections that are sagging, that are really soft, you may need to dig a little more inches and be able to find solid ground. So you start working with gravel and sand. Normally, you will use about 2-3 inches of gravel for drainage, and then the sand, and then the pavers. In this case, again, this is a really hard surface, and we're going to work almost just over the surface. We're going to put some weed cloth and stuff like that to avoid weeds from coming before we start the process. But that's how we're going to continue. As we prepare the area, there are some things that we need to remove. Some steps, some pavers, some sections that are really damaged, and we want to make sure that wherever we work, we have a nice area that is clean and level and all the stuff. So that's how we're going to continue, by removing whatever, like this step that is here, that is not going to be useful for us in whatever we're doing right now, and and so forth. So that's how we continue. Well, and as we work, we continue making sure that everything has the proper inclination to the areas that we want. For the purpose, we are using different type of tools. Most of them are hand tools. Depending on the area, you're gonna need some other type of tools, of power tools or gas tools or whatever. Anyway, so some of the shovels, rakes, picks, and stuff like that, they can obviously help you to make a nice project. Over here, we didn't destroy the step, but we raised the step a little bit more, make it level, so it actually helps a lot for the people to walk down, instead of just kind of building something fairly unstable. So now we can use that. Like we said, the ground is really solid, and we are just scraping the top, making sure that everything is level. So that's how we continue. Okay, so now we have this weed control fabric, and the good thing about the weed control fabric is that it will help us to avoid roots from growing, and pretty much the interaction of new plants over the pavers. So we're going to install them. We're going to use some pins to hold it down, and then we'll start working with the sand that we already have here. Well, to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to use a guide. In this case, I'm using a 1-inch pipe, galvanized pipe, actually a few sections of them. What I do is that I just place them on top of the weed cloth, and I just pour some sand on top of it and drag it so it maintains the same level. Once I remove the pipes, I fill up those little holes. And in this first row, what you want to do in this case, you're going to see a little bit of a curve on the line. You want to align all these things really well, because I'm working with this timber over here as my guide. So you want to make sure that everything is lined up. You can actually adjust them by hitting, in this case from right to left, just to kind of get them a little bit tight. And don't worry about the sand. The sand is a little loose, but once you're using a gasoline operated tamper on top of them, they will be nice and level. All right, and as we continue with the process, I want to stop a little bit and show you what is going on. We're using this galvanized pipe. That's a 3/4 of an inch galvanized pipe. I mean 1 inch, and that is helping us to create a nice even surface for us to lay the pavers down. You know, I'm not gonna say they are 100% level because we need to use the tamper, the mechanic tamper, or you can actually use a regular one like the one that is here. But I'd rather use the mechanical one. It's really efficient. So what we do is that we drag the sand. We place these things on the wheat cloth, and we drag the sand, and we keep a nice even surface as we move along. We are not tampering this thing because the surface is really hard. We're gonna do that at the end, and obviously because this doesn't have cement or whatever in between, we can actually move them out and take or add some sand to level it out as we work with the process. Well, here we have the last section of it. What we're doing is that we're using the string, this yellow string that you see here. Obviously a lot of sand. You have to order a load of sand when you're working with this, and sometimes you can use a little bit of sand, but I mean sand can help you a lot and it's fairly inexpensive, and you can actually pull the pavers out, adjust them whatever you feel like is a big hump or a depression, so you can remove it and adjust it before you put the machines to work. And the tampers will help you to even make it even better. But sand is a really good material to work with. Also, to be cheap with the sand, I suggest you to use a lot of it. Then later on, we're gonna put the retainers, which are those edges that are gonna be around with this massive galvanized, the galvanized nails that we're gonna use for that. For now, we're just using it as a guide, so we can actually hit this in the right way and make a nice straight line. So that's how we continue. Alright, now this is the final part of it. After we use the plate tamp, which is a little stronger for this type of pavers, the machine was breaking some of them, so we stopped it, fairly quick. But it helped a lot to kind of anchor the pavers to the sand that we have. The final part is to use this material that is called, a sand topping settling sand. And what it is that they use, in this case is gray, and they use some material to make it easy to be compacted. So what you do is that once you clean the excess of the sand that you were using in the beginning, you start spraying this on the top, sweeping it, and then you rinsing it with some water, and so it sets down. And that's pretty much how you finish this type of paving project. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a subscriber of my channel. If you're not, please subscribe and just hit the like button and share with your friends. I'll see you in the next one.